Week 12 of the NFL is in the book, so let's get you a pre-Thanksgiving week recap of what happened, starting with Thursday Night Football. You have the Atlanta Falcons dominating the Houston Texans 23-3 in Houston. But for the most part, the Texans, it's been a rough season. 2 interceptions for Davis Mills, 115 yards through the air. But for the Falcons, Marcus Mariota actually got hurt with an ankle, so he came out of the game. It wasn't serious, but enough for him to get out of the game. As Desmond Ridder came in and just finished off the game, mostly running the ball was the Falcons' plan, and they got the job done. Then the Philadelphia Eagles and A.J. Brown's revenge game win 26-10 over the Tennessee Titans, as the Eagles are the first team to see double-digit wins. They get to 10-1 as Jalen Hurts threw for 271, 2 TDs. A.J. Brown in the revenge game got a touchdown. Tannehill didn't play very well. The Titans in general in this game just did not play very well at all, especially offensively, something they've got to work on later on through the season. The Chiefs, they dominate the Panthers 30-6 in this one. Carolina stood no chance on the road at Arrowhead. As P.J. Walker, another rough game. As now there's rumors Sam Darnold will start Week 13 for the Panthers. Mahomes did well, though. 219, 2 TDs, and MVS with a touchdown in this game. Isaiah Pacheco doing well in Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's absence, as Hilaire could be possibly back for the AFC Championship game. Good old rivalry in Baltimore. The Ravens win in overtime, 19-13 over the Steelers. We talked about injuries with the Falcons and Mariota. Kenny Pickett suffered a concussion as he is questionable for next week. Didn't do too well, 91 yards and an interception. Trubisky came in and led a decent drive, which set the Najee Harris touchdown to tie the game. But it was Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, who get it done. Prochet with the game-winning touchdown in overtime to propel the Ravens to 8-3. Massive upset. The Jaguars continue their terror in the NFL. They've won their last 3 against the Chiefs, Seahawks, and now the Vikings 27-21. Trevor Lawrence, 3 TDs, a monster day for Christian Kirk. Kirk Cousins didn't play very well at all. The Vikings are now 0-2 this year against the AFC South. They lost to the Titans 2 weeks ago, and then right out of their bye week, they lose to the Jaguars. So they're starting to fall off a cliff. They fall to 8-3. Jaguars now lead the AFC South. Due to a blizzard in Buffalo, they had to go to New Orleans to play their home game, but they beat the Browns 38-35, a closer game than a lot of people expected. Jacoby Brissett threw for 3 TDs, 3 picks. Nick Chubb had a great day on the ground. And how about Farrell Brown? 80 yards and 2 TDs in this game. Josh Allen played really good too. 7 rush, 71 yards, a TD. Cole Beasley off the practice squad coming in and doing really well as well. Buffalo now 9-2. The Bears win 10-6, and there's actually an interesting way this game finished off. It was a punt return for a touchdown to win the game by Jakeem Grant. 88-yard punt return for a TD to win it. Justin Fields in his return is now 2-0 with the Bears. The Colts have lost their last 2 to the Falcons and now Chicago after getting that huge win against the Ravens back in week number 10. Bears 3-9 now, and the Colts fall to 4-7. They play on Thanksgiving. Another team that plays on Thanksgiving is the Lions. They have their revenge game for Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford as the Lions win 17-12. Stafford played all right. Jared Goff had a good day. Swift on the ground as well, as the Lions will host the Packers on Thanksgiving. They go to 5-5 and 1. Rams slip to 5-6, and they're starting to fall off on a little bit of a cliff as well. The Super Bowl hangover, except this time they're the winners of the Super Bowl. The Commanders hang on in a close game against the Patriots, 28-22. Bailey Zappi got the start after Mac Jones had the bad week against the Chiefs. Zappi did really good, 258, a TD and an interception. Devontae Parker had another good big game. Taylor Heineke played well, and it was overall a clean game. In fact, there's 3 flags thrown in this game, which is pretty crazy. Antonio Gibson had a touchdown as the running backs were a good 1-2 punch for the Commanders. The Buccaneers hang on to a slim win over the New York Jets in Mike White's final game, as Zach Wilson will be back for Week 13. Brady threw 3 TDs and an interception. Fournette had a touchdown. Breece Hall had a good day for the Jets. Mike White did all right. Just a late interception cost the Jets a chance at the victory. And Tampa Bay improves to 6-5. Jets fall to 5-7, which really hurts their playoff chances. as the tight playoff race in the AFC is heating up. A very rainy day in Seattle sees the Seahawks winning 13-0 and ending the Cardinals' good streak of games there, as the Cardinals have now finally dropped a game after winning 4 in a row. Seattle goes to 7-4, surprisingly. They've had a quiet season. No one's really talking about them, but they're tied for the lead in the AFC West. As not a lot of throwing was done. It was very rainy, very damp and wet, so running the ball was key, and Kenneth Walker helped the Seahawks do that. America's Game of the Week on CBS. The Cowboys win 28-13 and beat the Giants, as the Giants, just like everyone else lately, has been starting to fall off a cliff. They were 5-3. They've lost 3 in a row. Daniel Jones didn't play great. Dak Prescott played pretty good, as the Cowboys will host the Raiders on Thanksgiving. Leighton Vander Esch and the defense did very well. Very concerning for the Giants, as they have not made the playoffs since 2016. Speaking of the Raiders, they hold on in a slim game against the Denver Broncos, 16-13, as this game was not filled with many offensive moments. Carr did throw for 235 and a TD to Davante Adams, but Russell Wilson struggled, and they have not expected this kind of nightmare season for the Broncos, paying Russell Wilson that much just to go 3-8 so far. So hopefully they can find something late in the season to kind of save their season, maybe fight back to make a playoff run. Sunday Night Football, the Dolphins beat the Packers in Miami 26-17, as Green Bay, all of a sudden this team who's been good for so long is 5-6. Worst start in the career for Aaron Rodgers, same for Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. As Rodgers 244 and a TD, Tua threw a pick, but the Packers, they just could not capitalize off the Dolphins' mistakes. Raheem Mostert, bad rushing night, still had a TD. Romeo Doubs looked pretty good for the Packers. Chaos in SoFi on a Monday night. The 49ers in overtime, 33-27. Brock Purdy, in his first career start, throws for 327 and 3 TDs. Monster game for the last pick in the NFL draft. Ayuk had 3 TDs. George Kittle went off. And then Justin Herbert, he had a great night. More accurate than Purdy. Less yards, 2 TDs, but still played amazing. This is a contender 100% for Game of the Year. As New Orleans and Cincinnati were on a bye this week, as no one will have a bye next week due to it being Thanksgiving week, so they are well rested for Week 13. Standings, Buffalo and Kansas City continue to lead at 9-2, Cincinnati 8-3, with Jacksonville taking control of the AFC South, Baltimore 8-3, the Dolphins at 8-4, and Tennessee currently holds the last playoff spot at 5-1. From 8th back to 14th, still has a legitimate chance at the AFC playoffs. Technically, New England and Houston aren't out of it just yet, but at the pace they're playing at right now, it's not really that good. For the NFC, Philly, Minnesota, Seattle, Tampa Bay on top of their divisions. Cowboys, 49ers starting to crawl back, and the Lions currently with their last playoff spot. But, you look at everyone who's there at 6-6, 5-6, at 4-7. All of them got a chance, so really 8th through 14th for the NFC as well. This is ASC, signing off.